Welcome to Bite-Sized Data Science. Recently, I was working on a project where I ended up doing the data exploration directly with a connection to a relational database. This led me to revisit the data exploration subject to add to the existing videos, with video 17 using Spark data frames and video 18 using Pandas data frames. In a way, it also brings us back to video 2 that asked the question, am I obsolete? Why use a relational database connection directly? If your data already resides in a database, why should you move it around? You could create a connection to a specific table or view and make it look like a CSV file and use it with either Spark or Pandas data frames. This still seems like adding overhead to the processing, even if some drivers will try to push the processing to the database. There are two other reasons why you should choose a database connection. The first one is the flexibility to join tables together as you see fit. The second one, more importantly, is the availability of in-house skills. If you already have people that know SQL, they will be productive very quickly. Yes, you could use Spark SQL, but it still has the drawback mentioned earlier and is still a more complex environment to learn. To illustrate this, I am using the Watson Studio environment and a Jupyter notebook to explore the same data used in videos 17 and 18. The difference is that I am also using a database service to store the data. To reproduce the demo, you'll need a few files. Their URLs are listed in the description. Make sure to download them before you start. I also assume you already have an IBM Cloud account. If not, you can easily create one. Just use the link in the description to create an IBM Watson Studio account, which will also be your cloud account. Now that we are in our cloud account, the first step is to create a resource using the blue button in the upper right. In the search bar of the new screen, type DB2. You will see DB2 Lite under Databases. Click on it. There is really nothing else to adjust, so click the Create button. Once a service is created, we are brought to the resource list. Click on that new service under Cloud Foundry Services, then click on Open Console. Our first task is to create a table. In the console, click on the hamburger shape in the upper left corner and select Run SQL. In the top window, paste the SQL statement from the file provided in the description, click Run, and select Run All. Once the execution is completed, we have a table in our database. Click again on the hamburger in the upper left and this time select Load. Drop the Chicago traffic CSV file in the File Selection window, then click Next. Select the schema. It has the same name as your username for the database service. It should be the first one on the list. Select the only table available, traffic_crashes_crashes, then click Next. Before you can load the data, you have to change the timestamp format to mm/dd/yyyy space HH:/SS space TT to accommodate the timestamp format of the input file. Once this is done, click Next, then begin load. After a few minutes, the data is loaded and you're ready for the next step. Going back to the service details, we need to create credentials. Click on the service credentials in the left panel and then on the blue New Credentials button on the right, then click Add. Click on View Credentials to see the content. These credentials will be used in the creation of a connection asset in our Watson Studio project. In the Watson Studio project, under Assets, click the blue Add to Project located in the upper right. Then click on Connection, followed by clicking on DB2 Warehouse in the first column. Give your connection a name such as MyDB2DB, then fill in the fields using the credential fields hostname, password, DB, and username. Once it's done, click Create. Now we're ready to go to our notebook. In the notebook, we need to add the connection credentials using the Data menu with the Connection tab. Once the credentials are added, we can open a connection to the database. Note that I wrapped the connection into a DBI connection. The benefit is that the result of the execution of an SQL statement is returned as a pandas data frame. The submission of SQL statements is simple, and displaying the result is simply displaying the content of a data frame. Having the result in a pandas data frame allows us to do additional manipulations on the results, such as displaying graphics and creating machine learning models. Since a notebook is basically the same as in video 17 and 18, you can go over it on your own. See you next time on Bite-Sized Data Science, and don't forget to subscribe.